you've limited the amount of dust building up out in the plant, but now he's put the DHA up on the shelf, and that's where all the dust is collecting on that DHA because he's not pulling it off regularly and taking a look at it and going through that. So what is your recommendation on how often should they be reviewing it, and when do they take a look at it?
So from a consensus standard standpoint, and again, NFPA being progressive and establishing this, there's a revalidation that is required every 5 years, right?
Okay.
And we're in the process, and part of my road warrior journey has been doing a couple of revalidations where you go back and you look at the recommendations, you look at everything that was done 5 years ago, you look at any change management documents that were developed between the time of the initial DHA and now this 5-year review period, and then you look for any new hazards. So you have to revalidate it every 5 years. Now, in terms of putting it up on the shelf, if the DHA is done correctly, there are checks and balances built into the controls that should be audited and maintained over the life of the process. So this is that management systems element. There is a requirement to have management review. So there should be action items that are reported on, just like you would report schedule attainment, just like you would report a quality defect, just like you'd report any other safety incident. Any of the critical items identified in the DHA should be part of your reporting metrics and your monitoring. So what we try to do is we try to integrate certain requirements or continuous checks into maybe some PMs, right? So you have a PM for a dust collector. We may add 1 or 2 steps that are required for your maintenance folks to check off. Someone needs to, just like they would audit the regular PMs, make sure those things are done. So usually with companies that are, in that continuous improvement space, they're measuring and monitoring OEE, overall equipment effectiveness, right? You're looking at your schedule attainment. You've got all those different metrics. So as you report those, what we try to do is integrate our solutions into what you're already monitoring and reporting with some specificity in terms of here's why you're doing this, because it's related to dust. So if you're doing the checks and balances on those, the report itself, could sit somewhere. You don't want it to just collect dust, but you've got enough integrated management system components that if there's a failure occurring, someone should know. So that leader at the plant, that plant director, when someone comes into her or his office and says, hey, we're going to change line 1, we're going to add this like this, the first thing should be, let me see the MOC, the management of change. That plant leader, that plant director should sign off on all changes that occur in the plant. And what they should ask for is the technical basis for the change, that they've done the analysis of the impact of the change. At that point, again, a metric of how many MOCs submitted and approved. There are sustainable systems that you build into the process that will tell you if you are succeeding or failing in terms of your dust journey. So it becomes a living document in that it creates checkpoints, gateways, and other systems. So you shouldn't have to always go back. You could go back to it as a technical reference for the MOC, because when we write our reports, we put a lot of different technical information. We cite code. You could go back to it for that. But in terms of your daily journey, if we've done our job correctly, it's integrated in what you do as a business.